All right, let's roll.
Hello.
It's been a week.
Yes, it
Good
has
week.
been.
Um, we've been having a lot of fun with the new puppy.
Yes.
Uh, our kids having a great week. So yeah,
Mhm.
it's been fun. I mean, the dust is settling a little bit. I think we're seeing some. Hey, Kenneth, what's up, dude? I think we're seeing um, some clear responses to the election and how people feel about it. We're starting to get that interaction going with
Mhm.
people are kind of settling down and ready to talk about it. And in a lot of cases, some people aren't. They're not getting ready to talk about it. They don't want to uh, have real conversations about it, which I'm I think it sucks. I find it shitty. What's up, Judy? What are you doing? Um, I a lot of responses to it. I mean, I think I've said this before, but I'm crazy confused as to what's happening. Uh,
What do you mean?
just the this seems to be sparking some sort of like crazy visceral reaction where um, people just can't. I don't know, like what do we always say with our kid, right? Like our kid has autism. He has, bouts where he can't handle his emotional
Mhm.
um where he is emotionally. And so he has these little bouts that we have to teach him how to deal with.
Mhm.
And I feel like this election has caused grown ass adults to have visceral reactions to it and they cannot handle the emotion that they're having.
Yeah.
And I absolutely don't understand like how this is happening.
Yeah. Hi, everybody.
Well, yeah, what's up?
Michelle, Jody, Bruce, Ken.
Kenneth can't regulate. Yeah,
Slay.
that's kind of
Yep.
what I'm trying to say. Thank you.
Yeah. I think
Slater.
what you're trying to talk about, and I saw a clip on this that the most, and I forget who they were. There were two people having an interview or whatever that um the host asked the guest what, in his opinion, is the most important thing that adults need to do. And it is emotional regulation.
Yeah.
And I think that this, more than anything, is a clear view and a clear reminder that if we, meaning individually, if we are not able to emotionally regulate ourselves, then the world does feel like it's spiraling. And again, I know I've talked about this a lot, and I I'm grateful we started the podcast when we did, but I'm a very, very different person than I was a year ago and then before that. I was unable to emotionally regulate myself. I was triggered by everything. Everything was a spiral and I was unable to regulate myself. And in turn, doing my work, I realized that that was a direct correlation to why my son and I were constantly going like this, because I wasn't able to teach him how to regulate his emotions, and then I couldn't regulate my own emotions. So between the two of us, it's like we're just, you know, bumping heads. And I think what this is showing is clearly showing that adults, teenagers, children are not learning how to emotionally regulate themselves and be able to put one foot in front of the other and believe that things are going to be okay until they're not. And that's a very powerful statement that I have been gifted from you, is that when I would spiral, you would remind me that everything's going to be okay. It might not look exactly how I want it to look. It might not feel how I feel like it should be, but it will be, like, we will be okay. Everything will be okay however it turns out. And the thing is that, like, everybody is so emotionally heightened right now, but we don't actually know what is going to happen. You have those people that are like, trust that he's going to follow through with what he says he's going to follow through on. And you can like all of them, you could like some of them, you could not agree with some of them, you could wholeheartedly get 100% behind other parts of it or whatever. And everyone's worried because he's making all of these direct statements that he's gonna, you know, dismantle this, get rid of this, hire this person, do this, and everyone is so worried that it's going to like
Yeah.
blow the world up. And I mean, in very big ways. And I don't know if you wanted to share this, but some of the stories that you found in the newspaper and you know, that kind of stuff. Like,
Yeah. No, I want to get there. Jody, are you seeing it at the deli and people? You can definitely see, especially right after, you could see the lowered shoulders of the people that probably voted for Kamala. And you could just see kind of the, uh, like the blank stares on their faces and whatever. And there was a shift of energy for sure,
mhm,
that I didn't expect it to be that, but nothing like what I'm talking about, nothing what I've seen in the news. So in the news today, there was a woman, she worked for Bezos. Let me hold on, let me take a look. She worked for Bezos Blue Origin space firm. Her name's Corey Burke, and she's from I think she lives in Washington State. And I'm going to assume that she's had a history of something in there, but basically Trump won. Her dad did something that she didn't like, and because she was so heightened by the fact that Trump won, she stabbed her dad to death. And it's like, wait, what? That's what we're doing? That's the kind of reaction we're gonna have. And she said it like it gave her some form of, like release. I feel free. I feel whatever, blah, blah, blah. It was just, it was an insane story. What the F? Yeah. Uh, rough day. Yeah. What the F? It, I, I really am worried about these people that are having these types of reactions. And then I saw, where did I go? I wanted to bring this up too, because it was this one. I just, I really couldn't get. It was it was crazy. It was a dad. Can I find it? Oh no, now this thing doesn't want to load. But it was a dad of, he had 2 kids and a wife, and he also was too overwhelmed by the election, and he shot himself and his kids and his wife. And it's like, it's politics, man. It's we're gonna get through whoever the president is. It does whatever, whether you're Democrat, Republican, whatever, you're gonna get through who.
Ken just sent you something on Instagram.
Did you? Is that why I might need to refresh my Instagram? Everything's kind of bogging down.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
it's absolutely insane how people are reacting to this. And I just, for the life of me, it's like, I get it. I was super, when Trump ran the second time in
2020.
2020,
Yep.
I was all for Biden, right? Like, it had to be Biden. I was gonna, like, it was gonna make me lose my mind, but oh my God, not like that. I
Mhm.
like, I was like, "Oh, yay," Biden won. I
Mhm.
wasn't going to, my life wasn't over if Trump would have won in 2020 at all. And if Kamala won this year, my life wasn't going to, I wasn't, you know, gonna not be able to
Mhm.
go forward with my life. But people are, we heard it on the Sevon the other day, like Plumber, his family is not gonna invite him to Thanksgiving because of the way he voted. Then the FEMA thing comes out, right, where you find out that there were certain FEMA officials that weren't going to, houses with American flags or Trump signs in their yard.
Mhm.
You're telling me these people went through this kind of tragedy, and just because of how they voted, you're not gonna go help them with their house? You're not gonna go.
Save their life.
Yeah, what in the entire.
Mhm.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'll pull this up. Thanks, Ken. Who else? It was Ken that sent me
Ken
something?
Walters.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the type of, reactions that we're having. Who's going to do that? Who, you know what I mean?
Oh my gosh.
Like, why? Now you don't even like him, and now you have the name tattooed on your body for the rest of your life. What in the entire hell is happening? I don't get it. You have families breaking up, and yeah, I see you, D Reed. And that's what I wanted to ask too. I have to find the other clip. I don't know where it went, but the media has been very successful in convincing people that Trump is evil and supporters are garbage. They really, like, what has the media done to us? They've done so much to us to make us think that our world is completely freaking over. I saw a woman react to it, and she's like, "This is my last day talking on Instagram. I'm going to end up in slave chains tomorrow."
Mhm.
What?
Mhm.
What in the world?
Mhm.
How did someone get you to believe that?
Mhm. Mhm.
And I get it, because I mean, I never was that deep into it, but I absolutely thought it was going to be, over. We were, when Trump was elected the first time, we were going to lose gay marriage. We're going to lose all. And I was like, oh, well, we're going to lose it. Like, but I still wasn't about to, I don't know, shave my head, swear off of everything I love to do.
Mhm.
Like, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? I wasn't about to be for B movement on this because of it.
Yeah. It's eye-opening.
And the left
It's
still won't look at it. They still won't look at what their policies could have been or might have been to make moderates shift to the right. They still don't
Mhm.
want to hear about it. They don't want to know. It's insane.
Yeah, and it's still very disheartening, and this is I mean, I know you said that there's hope, that you feel like that there's hope, that and maybe that's if we
Oh yeah.
like,
Oh,
if we
don't.
lose hope, like, then we've kind of got no, like, North Star kinda thing,
Yeah.
but I feel like this whole thing is just continuing to be more divisive, more like, it's literally tearing people apart, personally tearing people apart. It's tearing families apart. It's tearing businesses apart. It's just tearing people apart from each other. And there's no what I have seen is that voters that voted for Harris that lost and she lost have zero interest in having a conversation without pointing the finger and without name calling. Because what they are continuing to say is that anybody that voted for Trump is uneducated, is misogynistic, is racist, is
Yep.
homophobic, transphobic, and all of these trigger words. And they don't actually want to believe that people are really struggling to pay their bills and to feed their families, that people are really concerned at the border and have experienced.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Sorry. Thank you, Michelle Shanks. The guy in Duluth had known mental issues prior to the election. And I'm sure that girl did too. I'm sure that here it is. This was the clip I wanted to show you. Can you pull that down? This is the clip I wanted to show you. I think that she's talking about is this.
Go viral over the weekend and honestly had such a hard time even discerning what to say about it. The fear mongering of the media has driven people so far off the cliff that people feel the need not only to end their own life, but in this case, to end the life of your wife and children because of the results of a presidential election. Anthony Nephew, 45 years old, specifically cited in his own social media posts that his own mental health was at an an all-time low, largely because of what he believed about religious people and how that could coincide with a Trump presidency. Tell me this doesn't sound like regurgitated talking points from CNN or MSNBC. My mental health and the world can no longer peacefully coexist, and a lot of the reason is religion. I am terrified of religious zealots inflicting their misguided beliefs on me and my family. I have intrusive thoughts of being burned at the stake as a witch or being crucified on a burning cross. If anything, I hope this election is an opportunity for Americans to come together and realize that the narrative you've been force-fed in the media is not true. And
Yes, all that. Like I feel like they don't understand how far they've separated us, right? They ran on this platform of unity and inclusiveness and all this stuff. And I've said it before, but they have divided like the LGBT group so much so. And I don't think they understand what they did, and they're not willing to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, bye, Bruce. Love you, bro. Like they had us. And then they allowed this whole other movement to completely sever us. And so half of their base was gone because we were like, hey, what are you doing? This is nuts. Like, we can't do this. This isn't something we can do. Even there are even trans people that are adults that have lived their lives as trans people. And they're like, hey, we can't support this.
Mm-hmm.
And they just yanked us apart. And then, like you said, all they wanted to do was call us uneducated, racist, misogynistic voters, and weren't even willing
They're still not.
to take a look at what they did. And now you see moderate, you see a lot of podcasts and even TV shows, and I have a clip, I'll pull it up, but of moderate voters that are trying to explain to super liberals why the base might have changed. And they're like, no. The trans thing wasn't a big deal. No. The gay thing wasn't a big deal. That wasn't even a like a
A
A1.
worry. Yep.
It wasn't an A1 issue. It wasn't something that should have been on the table.
Mm-hmm.
When you're talking about people's kids and you're watching women get beat up in sports and you're watching men go into women's bathrooms and changing rooms.
Yeah. In New York State, Prop 1 has passed.
Yeah.
Prop 1 has passed, which says that you cannot discriminate based on age.
Yeah.
Based on age. That is a direct correlation to parents and children and minors. And to sit here and say that things like this are not going to happen, I get it. But to go to be so scared to the point where you feel like you need to take away the most precious thing that we have, which is life, because you are so scared about what is going to happen. Like,
yeah, it's insane. And kind of, yeah, my daily life hasn't changed at all, to be honest. Yeah, but they'll say that's because you voted for Trump, so you wanted everything to be right in your daily life. But I'll say when Kamala or when Biden was, nothing changed in my daily life when he became president. When Trump became president the first time, nothing changed in my daily life. Something happened this election that shit was starting to change in my daily life. And I was like, yo. And it was funny because I was having a conversation about religion with Bernie a couple of days ago, and we were talking, and he was like, I think, basically we all agree on 90 to 95% of things. And so I started thinking about that as it pertained to politics. And I was like, yeah, I think in politics, we pretty much all agree on 90 to 95% of things. There's, unfortunately, those 5 to 10% of things we don't agree on are very hot topics.
Very heightened. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. They're triggering. They make everybody.
They are the constant divide of all of us. Are those that very small percent, and people are saying it perfectly. Like, fine, you want to throw some numbers out that it's the very the very small
Yes.
percentage of stuff, you know, like with the trans conversation, like it's a very small percentage of children that are being trans as minors, then how come there are so many detransition stories? How come there's so much information about detransitioners? If it's only a small amount, why is there research? Why is there credit to talk about that?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Deary,
And it's
doubling
blown.
down on failed strategy of identity politics is a bold move, and they had too many identities to fucking deal with. Like, the liberals had so many identities that they had to take care of that they couldn't take care of any of them. And it's like, you never even thought to ask your base at all. Zero. But the point I was trying to make, though, was that when moderates were trying to explain to super liberals, and they didn't really, they wouldn't hear it. And I've started to see some of this, which I like a lot. And I hope that they keep doing it. And I hope moderates keep trying to explain shit, because that's the only way, hopefully, that they're going to, I don't know, hear anything. But I've been starting to see a lot of this, and hopefully it stays.
I'm going to speak some hard truths to my friends in the Democratic Party. This is not Joe Biden's fault. It's not Kamala Harris's fault. It's not Barack Obama's fault. It is the fault of the Democratic Party in not knowing how to communicate effectively to voters. We are not the party of common sense, which is what the message that voters sent to us. For a number of reasons. We don't know how to speak to voters. When we address Latino, and language has meaning. When we address Latino voters as Latinx, for instance, because that's the politically correct thing to do. It makes them think that we don't even live on the same planet as they do. When we are too afraid to say that, hey, college kids, if you're trashing a campus at Columbia University because you're unhappy about some sort of policy and you're taking over a university, and you're trashing it and preventing other students from learning, that is unacceptable. But we're so worried about alienating one or another cohort in our coalition that we don't know what to say when normal people look at that and say, wait a second, I send my kids to college so they can learn, not so that they can burn buildings and trash lawns, right? And so on and so forth. When we put...
That's the thing. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Ken Walters, let me take this down. With powerful cabinet he's putting in place, a lot of daily life, I think, is guaranteed to change for the people.
There's a lot of concerns about this cabinet that he's putting together.
Yeah, I mean, some of the stuff some of them have said have been like, I have to look some of it up, but I'm not mad at a lot of it. I was surprised about Marco Rubio for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if that has that been confirmed yet. I thought it had been. I thought he confirmed it on his platform. But if I was surprised about Marco Rubio, I don't know. I love a lot of the picks. The dude from Florida, I think, was not Marco Rubio. I think the other guy's from Florida. And he had that kind of, he's got something over his head. He did some shit. He was accused of going over state lines, sex trafficking, I think, going over state lines with a 17-year-old or something like that. I don't know how I feel about that yet. I have to look into that a little bit more. I think that was in 2021. Yeah, I think that's it. No, not DeSantis. He's not in anything, is he? He hasn't been. I don't think he's been even talked about for anything other than appointing some shit. Hey, what's up, Ortega?
I don't.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
gonna be a shock to the system for sure.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with a really big shakeup, and I think that is a bigger message too, is that we've been kind of running the same race for the last, how long have they been in office?
Oh, well,
Democrats,
well,
they've had control for what, the last 20 years, what they talk about.
16 out of 20.
Yeah.
Or 12 out of 20. I don't
So
know.
we've been
Yeah,
kind of
16
doing the
out of 20,
same
something.
thing for the last 15 years, we'll give them.
Yeah.
And people are getting to the point where they're saying, okay, it's not working. It's not working. Something has to
To change.
change. And
They won't even meet us in the middle on anything though. Like nothing.
yeah, but
And
my point being is as I'm not, listen, I don't like change like the next person.
yeah,
I
I know.
don't like it. When I figure out what works, when we figure out what works, like I don't like change and people don't like change. But when again, you've been running the same, you've been doing the same circle, you're on the wheel, you've been doing the same circle for 15 plus years, and people are finally saying that this is not working. And not only that, but they're also putting a lot more extreme ideologies into said wheel that just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Washington is huge. Millions of dollars are there. Millions of dollars, billions of dollars are getting lost. Trillions of dollars are getting lost. All of this stuff. We're paying more money. We don't know where it's going. It's supposed to fund all these things and do all these things. And people are finally to the point saying, it's not working. We need to shake this up and change it because it's not working for us. So
Yeah.
an extreme change, I'm not surprised that it's happening. I think the fear is in the lingo and in the words that are being used for what that change is. Do I want someone coming in and putting an iron fist down on everything? No, I don't. Again, I say get out of my life, like be government, be in my life as little as you can. But like, I'm not surprised that there is this
Yeah.
like
No,
I
no,
like
no.
I don't want to play anymore kind of narrative.
The thing is, let's go. Wasteful government spending. Yeah, they're talking about everything from like DEI, cutting DEI budgets, there's like some weird shit I saw. Something about what is this?
But like also
Russian cat research. There's some shit on that too, where he got like $500,000. But there's shit everywhere. It's crazy.
but like when they say they fear you into like taking away Medicaid and taking away Medicare, haven't they already been talking about that Social Security is going to be gone in the next 10 years?
I feel like that's always been a
and
talking point.
Like you and I won't even have Social Security to have when we get of age. Like, haven't they already been talking about
that
stuff like this is going away?
That's literally always been a talking point. That's what I'm saying. It's like you put the abortion thing, like the abortion topic out there, right? And she was going to fix that. There really was no way for her to just jump in office and executive order fix that. It's not like she could have fixed that on day one.
Yeah, but how does he do that then? How does he run around and say, well, I'm going to executive order this and I'm going to
you can't
executive order this?
Well, because the courts have to decide on abortion. That was a Supreme Court decision. He put in Supreme Court justices and they were conservative. So they did it. But now that he's like if she would have made it in, there's nothing she could have done. She maybe could have got she might have a couple during her term that she could have replaced, but I don't know if that would have helped.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if they could have reversed that anyway.
Mhm.
So that really wasn't even what were you were going to vote on that? It's not like she could have fulfilled that. So she would have failed it. You were setting her up for failure anyway.
Yeah.
For that.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the States now. What do we got? Tulsi Gabbard. Yeah, I like her. She's in the intel, right? Yeah. They put her on the terrorist watch. Yeah, she's gotten fucked with a little bit lately, as far as I can see.
People are having a lot of opinions on her.
Yeah. People are freaking out about the Department of Education being wiped out. It's the bureaucracy they are eliminating, not the funds. Yeah, I know. Half of this is just things people haven't read before.
But Ken makes a good point. Like, talk about this, just the Department of Justice or Department of Education or whatever. If you look at the numbers, like I'm not a big numbers person. I'm not someone that's going to break down the numbers, but from what I understand, kids can't read. Kids can't write. Kids can't write about what they read.
Then they're going to LeBron school.
Kids can't do simple math.
Yeah.
Like kids, like, isn't that where we should be focusing? Isn't school supposed to be for that? And we're more worried about other things. Like, if your kid can't read and write and then write about
And
what
do
he
math.
reads and do simple math,
We're screwed.
then but we're screwed. But also, then what is the point of sending our kids to school?
Yeah, right.
Like, what is the point? If the teachers that go to school, that go to these colleges, that choose to get all this debt or get financial assistance for going to school, and they learn all of these things to teach our kids, if that
Yeah.
is what they're going to school for, and they have their bachelor's and master's and all these degrees in it, and they come into these schools and our kids can't read and our kids can't write and our kids can't write about what they read and they can't do simple math, then
Yeah.
what is the point of sending them to school? And I know that the number one thing they all say, because that was something that was big for us too, is that, like, socialization. It's very easy to go to a park and watch a kid run around with other kids. It's very easy. The libraries have great programs. Like, there's so many other things like this. Like,
Yeah.
so
Giddy up. What's up? They're all going to need spine surgery from looking down at their phones. Or they're going to have that neck thing. What's that neck thing where
like a hunchback.
yeah, like the hunchback neck thing. Sevi can't read and he does back. Yeah, I know he does fine. Okay, fine. All right. Well, then, okay. I really just hope that the Democrats start asking, or the Democratic Party start asking, hey, what happened? What did we fuck up here? Because they're just not asking that. And like, you had AOC went and she asked, like, hey, what happened? And they were talking about how, they voted for Trump, but then voted blue down the line. And it was because they wanted some sort of, like, balance,
Mhm.
right? Like, they're Democrats, so they want, like, checks and balances. So they're like, hey, we want Trump to do all this stuff, but we want him to not have too much power.
Is
So-
this true that this is the first time that all parties involved are Republican? Like everything, the
No, it's not
presidents,
the
that
first
whatever.
it's the first time in a long time,
Yeah.
but it's not the first time. He went in, didn't he go in the first time, or somebody went in the first time with it, and they didn't
I don't think all three though.
they didn't do anything with it.
I don't
No,
think-
somebody had it.
Oh,
I forget. You guys probably know in the chat, but I feel like somebody had it.
because that's
I think he had it
also-
the first time. I'm pretty sure he had it the
all
first
red
time.
though.
Yeah, I think so. I'm
Um,
pretty sure.
yeah,
And then,
I don't know.
And then Biden went in with it. I think he had it all too. And Kamala was the deciding vote.
Mhm.
So, oh yeah, is this the first? Is this one of the few times that the unions went for Republicans? Don't unions always? What'd you say? Let me do this. That was weird too. I don't know how a younger generation even has a chance to enjoy their later years without Social Security, as it's the least invested generation ever in retirement funds, and almost no industry has pensions outside of the unions. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, that's also the thing.
You think they're gonna go after that though? You really think he's gonna go after that, or you think it was a talking point? Like, this is something else that we always talk about, or that people are talking about, is like, what do you think was just a talking point for reaction
right?
versus something that he's really gonna go do?
Well, that's the thing, and that's how I'm trying to move through all of this, because I am also, like, I'm still a very empathetic person, and I feel people's emotions very hard. Like, so I'm having still emotional feelings about it. I'm not like I was before, not nearly as bad as I was before. I'm able to talk about them. I'm able to still move through my day,
Like,
and
do
they're
you
not
think
paralyzing.
he's gonna go to, like, every immigrant's house and just knock on every door and just?
Well, I asked a friend of mine about that, and because he had said something like that, and I literally asked him, and he's like, "It could happen," and I'm hopeful that he's going to follow his word on what he said, which is going after criminals first, which is going after the people that have gone through the court system and then they said no.
My thing is go through the Tren de Agua. That's what I'm afraid of. You see in New York, you see all these freaking gangs everywhere and whatever. And that's what you know what I mean? The dudes that beat up the cops and what, like, go get those dudes.
But
that's my
But
thing.
it's also too like, and it's, you know, do you want to talk based on just emotions or do you want the facts too? If people
Yeah, that's
are
what
in
okay,
here,
cool. Yeah, that's what I thought I saw.
if people are in here doing things illegally and they also have their family here and they are found out and the feds or the cops or whatever go to their house and remove them from their family because because they're doing illegal things in this country.
I'm going violent crimes and drugs though. Like
that's what I'm
I want
saying.
the focus to be on violent crimes and
That's
drugs.
what I'm saying. And everybody that's on the border, and again, it goes back to the name calling or whatever. Like, if you don't live on the border, you don't have, like, who are you to say that the people on the border are not experiencing what they're experiencing? It goes back to, let's not put a blanket statement on everything. Let's actually listen to people's experiences. There's a woman that lost her son to somebody that was here illegally.
That's why I think
she's got a lot of words to say about it. She's got a lot of opinions about that.
Yeah, I think they did that when all of the southern border states started sending migrants to sanctuary states, and Biden started flying them to sanctuary states. It showed a lot of sanctuary states how much like of an issue that it was.
Well, and you're hearing some
otherwise
people in
I don't
sanctuary states that are like, we don't want this anymore,
because they didn't know what it was like, and now they know what it's like, and they're like, hey, can I get a little help here, please? Like when your schools are shutting down because you need room to house migrants, when you know your hotels are not yours anymore because they have to house migrants. People are gonna
apartment buildings are getting filled.
Yeah, dude.
Like,
they're getting taken over.
Are getting filled, and
people are gonna be salty. Sorry, it doesn't matter how big their heart is and how much they might want to help and how much, you know, it's affecting their kids going to school. It's affecting them. And they're not gonna take super kindly to it.
Yeah, and D. Reed has a point. If this is true in New York City, that
it's absolutely true.
They're getting $350 a week for groceries or whatever, and then working families that are in the lower middle class to poverty, and they see this and they hear this, they're going to have a lot of feelings about it because they work their asses off and they can't afford $350 a week for just groceries. So I'm not saying that the way that people feel is wrong.
Yeah.
But just because you feel one way doesn't mean that someone else doesn't feel a different way and is experiencing something different. And when you hear that, this, like, it's not okay. It's not okay because that same family that is in the lower middle class or poverty level or whatever, I guarantee has either asked for assistance and been denied, or chooses or says that, like, I want to not get handouts because I don't want the government involved in my business.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So for whatever reason, they still can't make ends meet and they live here and they do everything that they're supposed to do.
Yeah, my Democrats just have to stop thinking that we're attacking them. Moderates and like moderate liberals and moderate conservatives, we're not attacking you, dude. It's not about that. And if you keep doing that and you keep telling us, well, just half the country's fucking racist and misogynist, you're never going to get your shit back. Like, you're never going to get your base back because we're like, hey, we need something else. And it's clear that we said that.
Yeah.
I wanted to address something that I was talking to Jeremy about, but hold on. The Dems, D-Reed, the Dems had all kinds of money for everyone but Americans. People grew tired of that. Yeah. And going back to what I was trying to say before, I feel like we all want a strong economy, right? Like pretty much everyone can agree with that. We want inflation to go down, gas prices to go down, like grocery prices to go down. We don't want people just dying overseas. We don't want random wars. We don't want, we want a strong border. We want our kids to thrive. We want our kids to be safe. We don't want men beating up women in women's sports. We can pretty much agree on all of that. And for some reason, some weird ass reason, the Dems went super. I still think it's because they just fractured us too much, and then they didn't know who to pander to. They just because they had the gays, they had us. We were in the pocket. They had us.
Well, I mean, do you think that they really ran on those the abortion and transing kids or whatever? Do you think that they ran on that because they really felt like that they were going to have the biggest turnout and the biggest response because it's women and it's children?
I mean, I don't know what they thought, but how many women out of pick any community? You pick the gay community, pick Black women, Latinos, whatever. How many of them want it to be okay for their son to go turn into a girl? How many of them want that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on. It's okay. So you might say the gays, but not every single gay person is going to want that. And
leave my kid alone.
And any other of those, if you go down that, like who's the most marginalized, fine. But any of those other groups are not going to want their young men to turn into women at 12. You know what I'm saying? Like, how is that? How could that possibly be something that you ran on? Or putting men into women's sport, any of that. There was none of us no group was going to be fully okay with that. So now you just lost half of every group.
Yeah, because also too, like when you ask the questions, like, do you think young kids can smoke? Everyone's like, no, absolutely not. Do you think that young kids can drink alcohol? Absolutely not. Drive car? No way. Get a tattoo? Absolutely not. And you ask them why? Well, smoking, alcohol, and tattooing can change the way that their body is and change their body and whatever. Driving a car, it's not safe. They don't understand. They don't have the capacity to pay attention and blah, 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 blah. But then you ask them about transitioning or whatever, and then it's almost like they get stopped in their tracks and they just cannot understand that it is the same conversation for those things that they said. They can't do them because they're too young and they will mess up their bodies.
Yeah.
And what they're doing is they're sterilizing our kids. That's what it is. And that's why it's a bigger conversation for an adult to understand what's actually going to happen, what's actually happening. Again, you turn 18, you can fight for our country, you can drive a car, you can make adult decisions and whatever. If you're 18 and all I'm saying is like, slow down. Yeah. Just slow the fuck down. Slow the process down. Like it doesn't have to be in kids.
Here's another one. And this one's great. The clip I'm about to show you. This is great because Stephen A. Smith is probably I would never have called him moderate on anything, but I guess he is. And
again, things change.
Yeah, for sure. And he's trying to explain it. He explained this to Sonny, right? And so it's just, yeah.
Okay.
And he tries really hard, and oh God.
55% of Latino men voted for Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that happened?
Well, I think that economically, they were looking at things. First of all, in this country, you've got Cubans, Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, Guatemalans, Venezuelans, Colombians, et cetera, et cetera. And if you talk to the Hispanic community, depending on who you're talking to, they think differently. The Cubans think differently than the Dominicans. The Dominicans think different than Colombians. To some, the economy was a priority. To some, believe it or not, it was the border. You had some folks within the Hispanic populace that were encouraging the borders to be closed.
They want to pull the.
But here's why that's so imperative. It's so important because we're not Latinos. They're telling you That's what we want.
Yeah.
We had to stay online. We had to be online in order to get in. Who are you to bypass the line? And one of my friends, I remember
Agree
he
with
used
that.
this analogy, and I never forget this as long as I live. He said, "You like Six Flags, you go to Great Adventures?" I said, "I have." He said, "Sure, Disney World?" "Sure, I have. Of course I have." He said, "So you stand in line, Take about 2 hours to get on some of these rides because they're
Oh,
that
yeah.
popular." He said, "And right before it's time for you to get on that line, somebody jumps in front of you. What you gonna do?" And
Be
he said
mad.
that kind of mentality
mad.
is how you
So
have
mad.
folks within the Latino, within the Hispanic community, some of them, not all, but some of them who view immigration that way. So again, when you think about the economics, when you think about immigration, those two things are what I have found has influenced the Hispanic vote.
55% of Lat-
The clip doesn't
That's
finish, but she
so
just goes
good.
on to say that no, they're misogynistic. It's like they're not misogynistic or racist, but they try to go to that too. It's but I mean I give it to Stephen A. Smith for even
Because you know what that shows?
Latino. I know the pronunciation. I know. Every time I listen to her, yeah.
But you know what that shows?
What's up, Trish?
That he's willing to listen.
Yeah,
That he's actually listening to what people are saying. And he also said that people within the same community have different views.
Yeah.
And it's still okay that they have different views. But he's actually listening to what they're saying. That is the bigger picture. That is the more important thing. Like listening to what somebody else is saying. That's done the process. That's done it the right way. And been
Yeah.
like, this is bullshit. Because it took, whatever their story is, it took them however long it took them to get here.
yeah.
So
Chris, is this story true? Just asking what story. I'm not sure which story you're talking about. I thought Stephen A. Smith was just the ESPN talking head. Yeah, Kenneth, me too. When I saw that clip, I was like, oh, shoot. He thinks about other things and doesn't just make really weird comments and then apologize for them afterwards. He actually is listening. I mean, this might be the only point in time.
listen, I
But I'll
think
take it.
think this election shook up
A lot of people.
in ways that they never believed would happen in their lifetime. I think this particular election, with how red everything turned, I think shook a lot of people. And I think for the first time, for some of us, we're actually starting to research more. We're actually starting to ask questions more. We're actually listening a lot more than before. I think that this election shook the entire foundation of this world.
Yep,
And
shivered a lot of timbers. It sure did.
And I think that people are going to start.
There's a lot of.
I also think that people are going to start being a little bit more understanding. So, there you go. There's maybe there's your hope. There you go.
I hope so. I think they have to. I saw a great podcast with PBD had it with Charlie Kirk and Chris Cuomo, and holy crap, Chris Cuomo and Charlie Kirk actually had a conversation. I was fucking shocked. Like they were literally trying to understand each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. But it was really good. And yeah, sure. Fine. That gave me hope for,
if you're able to have a conversation,
most of us do. I feel that.
If you're able to have a conversation, that is where true growth actually happens. Again, we've said this before a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Come to the table. We can sit and have a conversation. I'm not saying we're going to leave and our minds are going to be changed.
No, probably not.
I'm not saying that my beliefs are going to change from the conversation that we had, but you know what? I'm going to have more knowledge.
Yeah.
Something about that conversation is going to help me be a better person.
And at least we might be able to find common ground.
Right.
If you're willing to talk to me, like
Right.
we might be able to, oh, okay, cool. That's
Mhm,
fine. Yep.
mhm.
I did want to go, Jeremy brought something up. I did want to talk about this, that mass text messaging on college campuses right afterwards,
Fucking
where they were like
ridiculous.
sending, like racist text messages to Black kids at college schools. And it wasn't even just schools, right? Like a lot of the family got some upstate too about how like you can now pick cotton somewhere, some weird,
Mhm.
whatever. But I have to think that is just some weird organization that, because I think they use Text Now to do
Mm.
it.
Mhm.
So it's like off the grid. I mean, I think Text Now is working with authorities to figure it out. But God, man, like people just want to race bait and just make
They
us.
want to keep people
They
in
just,
terror.
yeah, they
and
just want to
fear.
keep us
Mhm.
divided no matter what. And it could be like 5 people behind a computer sending out all this shit, and they just want to cause havoc. They just want to wreak havoc. That's like their whole life is doing that.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, thank you, Jeremy. Shout
And-
out to you for sending me that because I definitely didn't. I was like, wait, what? I hadn't heard of that, but yeah,
Mhm.
it was definitely on the news.
Yeah.
That's crazy, and I can't imagine getting that text message.
No,
I can't imagine my nephew getting that text message. I can't.
absolutely
Like, that's
not.
fucking horrific.
Absolutely
What are you
not.
doing? But
Assholes will be assholes, no
assholes
matter what.
will be assholes. Ken Walters, Cuomo has been peddling since CNN fired him. He's more, yeah, it is. Now that he's on his podcast, or I forgot what it's called, or
Well, isn't it amazing?
True something.
Isn't it amazing
But yeah, he's fired
how
now.
much people can actually speak their truth and share their values and views and have people push back and just continue a conversation when you
up,
are
Lydia?
not beholden
Yeah,
to a certain group of people. When you are on CNN, you are
But that
beholden
just-
to that.
that just shows how much legacy media sucks right now, and how in the bag they are. Like and
Mhm.
he explains a little bit of it. It was interesting to listen to because he actually explains what he could and couldn't do a little bit.
Mhm.
So that was super fun.
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean, it was honestly, it gave him room to make mistake too, and admit that he was like, okay, yeah, I can see it that way. I didn't see it this way before, but now I see it
Didn't
that
he
way.
call
And that was
Trump
cool.
when he got shot?
Who?
Didn't Cuomo call Trump when he got shot?
Oh, I didn't hear
When
that.
Trump got shot?
Maybe. I don't know.
I thought he said he did that.
I don't know.
Someone did that. That was not a fan of his.
Yo, I know Biden was super excited. Do you see
Oh
all
my
those
god!
pictures? of
Everybody
them
is saying, "See."
be-
Someone put a meme up that was like,
Biden is
this is the face of someone that voted
Yeah,
for Trump,
he was
and it was
so
Biden
happy to
smiling. I was like,
he was so happy to welcome Trump into the White House and have that meeting. Like he was so happy. It was, and probably Jill was probably even more happy. So yeah, that
I
was
think she'll be happy when his time is in the White House is done, so that they can go be retired together. And
yeah. Well,
You know what I
I'm sure
mean?
they didn't want to. I'm sure they wanted to run for the presidency,
Yeah.
but now that they're pissed off and they got stabbed,
that's what I'm saying. I think
Yeah.
she's probably like,
they'll go sit
"Let's
on a beach
go,"
somewhere.
and-
And
yeah, I don't know. I think that also, no, I wanted to ask you this though, too. Do you think that this presidency is really going to put everything back into a state level?
No.
No, you think the government's still going to be in charge of a
Yeah,
lot of
I
things?
mean, there's only so much he can do. Like, yeah, I'm sure he'll probably help. I like the fact that he wants to, make so. Hey, I was wondering, anybody see anything with the conservative like Instagrams or the conservative? Are they getting less shadow banned?
I don't know.
I don't know if that's even. I thought Instagram and Facebook might get scared a little bit and stop shadow banning every conservative page that was out there. But
Mhm.
I mean, I like that he's going to do that. But no, I don't. No, he can't. He's got 4 years. You saw you can see what people can do in 4 years. I mean, he's got pressing fucking matters to deal with. He's got 2 wars going on. He's got to deal with. He's got to deal with the border and the economy, and I'm sure those will be the freaking things
The
that
main ones
he
that
is
he-
even
yeah.
looking at,
Mhm.
which is why I think it's funny that people think that he's going to look at these little minuscule things that are never going to happen because he's got all those other humongous ass things to do. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, I mean, I was also talking to a friend of mine and talking about, the first part of the conversation is like, aren't you scared of, for your marriage and stuff like that? And
he does not care.
and I was like,
He does not care.
I was like, I'm not as scared as I was the first time that he ran, because he was in the office already and he didn't touch my rights.
He does not care.
But then by the end of the conversation, it's like, oh, nothing's going to happen to your marriage. So it is. I think for them too. And I feel like I'm like this on certain topics where it's like, it's a roller coaster of like, oh, I can see where the fear is here and it makes sense as to why, but then I don't think he's going to worry about that. You know what I mean?
It's still the guys that they did with the critical race theory shit. Like they made it so that it sounds like we're taking Black history away, which is American history. And in no way was anybody trying to take Black history away. Implementing critical race theory was implementing LGBTQIA gender theory shit. And they just put like Black history on top of that to make Black people want to vote for it. It wasn't that we all learned American history, all of us.
Yeah.
We all learned it. We all learned about slavery.
Jim
we
Crow
all right.
and
Yes.
Martin Luther King and
Redlining, all that stuff.
Yep.
We all learned about it. There was never an issue. But
Mhm.
now they just made this whole thing about how we're taking away Black history and we're taking away,
and we're not telling
American
true.
history.
We're not telling
Right.
true history.
And it's not. No, you just want to put gender ideology into schools. That was it. That was all we were saying about that. There's
Mhm.
nobody wanted to take away any history that what? No, we all.
And aren't we supposed to learn? This is always my big question. Like, aren't we supposed to learn from history so that we don't repeat it?
Yeah, that's yes.
Because what I
You can't,
feel
like,
like is that
What are we gonna take you can't, God, no one's,
I feel
you would have to take the Civil War out of history. Like you would have to take all that shit out of history so that we wouldn't know about slavery. And it's like, what? You can't. There's
Yeah.
no way to do that. It's impossible.
yeah. But if we're supposed to learn from history so that we do things differently, then it starts with you. It starts with me. I am doing something different than generations before me that chose to do things differently. Like I'm choosing to do it differently by not doing what they did.
Yeah.
So aren't I actually not part of the problem?
I don't
You know what I'm saying? Like, so
They-
it's like,
They've messed it up so much. Nobody even knows who's a part of the problem anymore. Like,
and there's
no
so
one knows.
I talked about this last time. Like, there's so many things, there's so many criterias that to fit perfectly into the box of doing it the right way. And it's exhausting to figure it out. But I know for myself, and I know for us, and I know for our kid, which is the three people in our family that we can have control over, me, myself, you, and then us raising our kid, is that we're going to do it differently. We're going to do it better. And and that's by being kind and understanding and having conversations and not name calling and not judging somebody based on the color of their skin. Like hey, if you're an asshole, you're an asshole. Like, and I'll always say that, but I'm doing it differently and I will always do it differently. So,
Hey, Ken, Trump isn't a procrastinator. He is going to move through things and then position others. So Vance has 8 years to finish the job.
People are saying that. People are saying that Trump was the one that they needed to get back into office to lead the way, but they think that he's setting up so that Vance can be there for.
I don't know. You think Vance? Because I've been watching Laura Trump go on a whirlwind tour of podcasts, and I'm not even gonna lie, she's got me entranced. I think she's fucking amazing. Everything she's done for him
Or do you think Tulsi will be the first female president?
it's either gonna be Laura Trump or
Can you
that's Eric's
imagine
wife, or
if another Trump got into the White House?
dude,
And
how goat shit is that? That is
Oh
some
my
fucking
gosh.
goat shit. If there's another Trump in the White House, that's I don't know if Vance will get it. I mean, I think he did great on Rogan. I think he did fabulous
Mhm.
there. I liked him a lot more after I saw him on Rogan.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know though. I don't know if he's charismatic enough. But
Who? Vance?
Vance.
Yeah,
he
Kenneth
maybe-
DeLapp was just saying he's he's a big family man and kind of.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, okay. I don't think. I'm telling you, Laura Trump, she's been on the podcast like tour, and she is likable. She's a Trump. She is, I don't know. But I don't think it'll be Eric, or maybe it is. Maybe she's setting it up for Eric. I don't know, but I like her a lot. She might be Medusa. I don't know, but like, I like her a lot. I do. Ken
does
Walter, she
CrossFit.
does CrossFit. Okay, well, see, now I'm in the cult here. But yeah, no, that was my thought. Before we head out, I do want to touch on this because Sevon is having Josh Sater,
Mm-hmm.
and he has been a thorn in my side for an entire year. And Sevon is having him on Sunday, and I can't fucking wait. I am so excited for this shit.
I'm very interested to hear his thought process as to why he chose to do this experiment.
Oh
Like,
my God, dude.
Yeah.
He has had me trying to figure out if he was satire or not for like 8 months.
Yeah.
Not even joking.
yeah.
Oh my God, I didn't even see this one. What is this shit? What? Yeah. Okay. He literally just did this is all he did for like 8 months, and he was the most masculine dude ever on The Bachelor. And
Mhm.
he trolled the shit out of the gay community. He literally trolled the shit out of us, and we couldn't figure out if he was trolling, if it was satire, if he was serious, if he was just like, I don't, because you don't know, because there's so many like trans women out there that don't do any sort of hormones, don't get any surgeries. They just put on a dress and makeup, and they're like, I'm a girl.
Mhm.
So you don't know if he's for real, but then he literally
Hey everyone. So I'm seeing a lot of divisive comments trying to pit us against each other. Today I just wanted to talk about unity in our shared experiences as women. Shared experiences like making boss woman moves, motherhood, and just going through things that men wouldn't understand.
and he literally,
Yes, Kenneth the Lab. Yes. It was this experiment.
yeah, it was
It was a
a long
social
con. Yeah,
experiment.
he did the
Yep.
long con, but he had us fucked up for a while because we didn't know what was happening. The whole gay community was split. Half of them were like, you go girl, get it, it's your world, don't let anybody tell you anything. Half of us were like, what the fuck is happening right now? Is he really,
Mhm.
is this a troll? Is it satire? Is it whatever? And then half of them were like, dude, you're a dude. And they would like get seriously pissed off and be like, you are not a woman, you will never
Bye,
experience.
Ken Walters. Thank you.
Bye, Ken Walters. Have a great night. And then so he had us split into like 3 different sections of what was. No, that's not his real voice though, Olivia. You have to listen to him. He's been on a couple podcasts. I haven't watched them yet.
Liv, those are really cute dogs, by the way. German, I think they're German
Are they
shepherds.
German shepherds?
They look like German shepherds. They're very cute.
He does it on purpose. That's not his actual voice. Like it's not like a.
Yeah, it is. It is his.
Is it real?
Wait.
There's not a video of him.
There has to be a video
No.
of him from the podcast.
Find a podcast that he did. Wait.
Yeah, I've seen him on other pods. Oh shit, really?
Is that his fucking? Oh my God, it kind of is. Hold on. Wait.
She's like, yes, girl, it is the same voice.
My God.
we have to listen to
Olivia,
this. Hold
here
on.
we go. Hold on. I got it. It's right here. Hold on.
Such a long history of using vulnerable groups and pimping
yeah, kind
out
of.
their problems so that they can stay in power. Oh, you guys won't be able to make it in America. You're black, but we'll help you with these programs. You wouldn't be able to do anything without.
Oh my God.
Okay, not as
All right,
high
it's-
pitchy.
Yeah, he makes it.
but
Yeah. Okay, you right, Olivia. You right. My bad. You right. That's fire. He definitely sounds like that shit. Okay, so he didn't have to try super hard for that voice, but he had to try super hard to be in them heels that he was walking around in a couple of times. So that's yeah, I'm excited
Mhm.
to see him on Sevan. I'm really jealous. I can't wait to watch it. I think I'll
Yeah.
actually get to see it live. Yeah,
Yep.
I don't have to work that day, so that'll be fucking
We'll
fun.
probably put it on the big screen. We
Is
don't
this
usually
called Gay Face? Yeah, okay, yeah,
we
kind of.
don't usually put Sevan on the big screen.
Yeah, usually we listen to him in the car, but
yeah.
we might have to watch this on the big screen because it's gonna be amazing.
Yep.
He fucking oh my god, this guy. I don't know how he did it, but he did it, and
He did it.
trolled the entire like LGBT scene for 8
Mhm.
months. It was crazy.
Mhm.
So that'll be fun. What else? Did we see anything else? That was pretty much it.
I don't think
I
so. I'm
didn't.
trying to think.
There's
I
nothing
sent
else
you
crazy out
anything.
there. Yeah, I think that's it. You guys thinking about getting Buck on? Who's Buck?
Yes, Olivia. Yes. One of my I have a couple. There's a couple people that I have been following,
Uh oh.
and I got the
She's been making moves without me.
I got the
apparently.
green light, I guess, from my wife to ask whomever I would like to talk to. So there's a couple people. I will show you guys Buck real quick. I think I've showed you guys because the minute that Olivia said, go look up. And by the way, girl, I hope you're doing well. We haven't talked in a little bit. Let's catch up. This is Buck. He is a trans man, and he talks openly.
Yep.
Very, very openly and against this whole idea like of going after kids and this whole idea that
Yeah, Buck Angel. I would have known.
but I think this is the one I shared with you guys, but I'll share it again. This is one of my favorite. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay.
Start living as a woman for the last 3 or 4 years, 5 years, and then tell somebody who's been a woman for the last 30 years what being a woman is. I live and let live. I don't care, but don't try to make me accept certain things that I just don't want to accept. I have my right to not want to accept certain things or certain terms or to be labeled a certain kind of way, but they're forcing it down our throats, and I don't appreciate that. I'm on TikTok all the time, and I'm seeing trans women. You real women are just jealous because your men want us. You real women are just jealous because you don't look as good as, like, where's all of that coming from? Like, what is that about? But then as soon as you respond, like Jess Hilarious did, now we're transphobic and
Yeah, that was a good one.
Wow, she just said it all right there. Why don't you try listening to the women and maybe you'll get a little bit more respect. Always calling people transphobic. It's so ridiculous. Wow.
Yeah, he's great.
He is.
He's great. So if you haven't started following him, Buck Angel on Instagram or whatever, but
Yeah, no, Mapley, Seema, I'm just never home. But I think this Sunday we'll actually just be sitting. I think we'll just be at home in the morning and just put him on the big screen. Even if there was, we don't give a shit anymore. There's nobody. I've had people in my car with Sevan on, and I don't care who I'm driving. I don't. But yeah, we have to put him up on the big screen on Sunday for this one because I cannot wait.
Mm-hmm.
And other than that, I'm trying to get, if you guys haven't, can you pull up Black Hippie Life? Amaya, her name's Amaya. She's on the IG Black Hippie Life. She does stuff for Gays Against Groomers and PragerU, I think.
Prager's Gays Against Groomers.
She's on Gays, or no, just pull up Black Hippie Life.
Yeah, she's right here.
Yeah.
She's the New York chapter leader.
Of Gays Against Groomers.
Yep.
So as soon as she had COVID, so as soon as she's feeling better, hopefully we're gonna get her on too.
Yeah, she's great.
So we can talk
Give
about
us a
that.
real big insight as to Prop 1 and how they mislead you.
Yeah,
because they put it, they put it one way that sounds very inclusive and supportive and whatever on the ballots, but like there's all the underlying stuff, and that's what she really understands and breaks down and whatever.
What's going on Sunday? Josh Sider, is it Sider? I think it's Sider or Sater on Seven's Pod. That's gonna be fucking fire.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my dad gets visibly angry and then walks out of the room. Listen.
What do I say? Seven's an acquired taste.
He's an acquired taste. Yeah.
He's an acquired taste.
I'm just happy because my wife likes him. I've heard of a lot of wives that don't like him, but like my wife
I
likes
did
him.
not in the beginning.
Yeah.
But again,
acquired taste.
listen,
Pause.
also again, like different. I was a different person before,
Yeah.
and I was very triggered by a lot of things that he said, and his delivery is not necessarily the best, but when you actually
For you,
listen,
I think it's hilarious.
now I'm like, let's go. What is
Just
he
funny.
saying? Whatever. But if you're not willing to actually listen to what he's trying to say, you're gonna miss his point. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, super
But-
excited for the weekend. And then yeah. You gotta watch him. You just gotta keep watching the podcast. Yeah, I get that too. Yeah.
absolutely,
For sure.
100%. Yep.
Especially
Yep.
for me.
Oh, me too.
And
Me too. He's absolutely one of them that really like needed to say what he needed to say.
And also, you guys do a great job in the chat too, because it's like you can listen to him and then watch you guys chat and know that it's all love and respect. Like you do
Mhm.
know that. You can see it
Mhm.
through the chat.
Yep.
And the interaction through the chat. How
Yep.
like you kind of get used to just,
Yeah.
locker room talk or whatever, how guys like talk to each other, how women talk to guys, how like you can see it. It's really cool. I think I've said it before, but it gets you out of that crazy echo chamber that it's like, if I don't agree with you, I have to not like you. It's like, oh no, I
Mhm.
can disagree on some points with you and still like you. That's fine. My see, when my dad walked in and do you want to hear Dr. Jizz on his patients? Yeah, I get it. I understand it.
Yeah, some of the things that he says, you're like, wait, what?
Yeah, it's
But-
my playtime. Yeah, I get it.
Mhm.
And it's that's what I'm saying. It's awesome. And now that you're not sitting there going like, oh my God, how could you possibly say this? Blah, blah, blah. And you can just have fun with it. Yeah, it's fucking freeing.
Mhm.
You just have a good time and talk shit and laugh and
And it's also really
be gross.
it's
It's
also
cool.
really good because we all need this in our
Speaking
life.
of that, I got to get Jan and Jake back. Like,
My
I
seat
miss
is still
Jan and
up for
Jake.
grabs, guys.
Yeah, I know. I need it.
My seat is still up for grabs.
Mr.
shit, I
Butter is
forgot.
glitching. Oh, that's cool.
I forgot what I was gonna say.
Mr. Butter. Judy. I think he's better off not being at HQ. Seb? Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, aren't we going to see him in the White House? I feel like
I said that.
yeah.
I was like, Sevon's gonna be in the
Yeah.
White House filming everybody.
yeah, we talked about that, I think, with Bill Grundler. And then what was it? CrossFit Troll, who's funny as shit, by the way.
Mhm.
Also did one with Sevon being in the White House at some
Yeah.
point. So
I said he's gonna be filming everybody's chests
yeah.
as he talks to them. So
Was no rep news?
Yep,
Okay.
that was a good one.
Yeah,
Yep,
that was good.
that was so good. But
Ugh.
this is what I was gonna say, and I'll leave it at this, and then we
Yeah.
can because I have to go put our kids to bed. We need the hard truth.
Yeah.
And I mean, we need the hard truth. And I actually was listening to Sousa, which I never do, but I listened to Sousa's show on my walk today, the whole thing. And he really like reminded me of this, of like, sometimes you just kind of need to get kicked in the chest for you to get it. Like, how many times are we going to do the same thing and expect a different result? How many times are we going to tell ourselves one thing and make a commitment to ourselves and then break that commitment? Like, how many times are we going to do this? He was talking about, I think for his gym, him and Grace do like a nutrition something, and Grace is a little bit more gentle and nicer and whatever. And he comes just like, well, you're fucking it up for your team and blah, 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 blah. But like, the truth is the truth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we need the hard truth. It wasn't until I had the mirror, and this was my coach that I work with. Shout out to Mary. I love her dearly. She helped change my life completely. When she literally like held up a mirror to me and was like,
hey.
And I had to admit to myself that I was the reason that my kid could not emotionally regulate himself, that he was having behaviors because of my behaviors. And it wasn't until then, and it was hard to hear, But then I was able to start making changes from that. And
Yeah.
I was starting to see things differently. So we need those people that are going to kind of slap us in the face and get us to think differently and open our eyes. And that's literally what this entire couple years has been, that this podcast has been, that this group has been, especially for you, babe. And then me coming with you now too, of like, you know what I mean? Like, holy shit, things that you have been told just don't make sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, I'm very grateful that you found and started this relationship with Sev, and then the rest of we've been,
Yeah, and
you
all
know,
you guys
awesome
too.
to
It's really
meet
nice
all of you guys and do all this.
talking
And,
to you guys on a
Mhm.
regular basis. It's very cool. And
Yep.
and again, it just makes you a better person because you learn shit. It's like,
Yep.
oh, that person doesn't think that way.
yeah,
Like, okay, cool. Why?
yeah,
You know, so
yep.
and all that to say, to wrap up, I fucking hope the Democratic Party starts asking fucking questions soon because it's annoying. So like I hope they do something. But if
Or
not,
it-
oh well.
yeah, and
Then
if
we're
they don't-
Laura Trump. No, just kidding. I don't know.
And
I'll
if
figure it out.
if they don't want to ask questions, at least find the empathy for somebody that thinks differently than you. I mean, that could be a good, you know.
Yeah. Oh, Judy, thanks for coming along with it. You're gonna see us make so many mistakes. It's just
Judy.
Judy, yeah. Just keep
Jude,
yeah. Sorry.
You're one of our OGs.
Yeah.
You're one of our
Just
OGs, and we appreciate just you
Yeah.
being here and
So many mistakes.
and supporting us from the very beginning. So,
Oh, giddy up. Thank you. I get over my day better when I visit the Clintons.
oh,
Appreciate
thank you.
AOC took. Oh shit! Did she really? Stop. AOC took pronouns out of her bio. Okay, she's
Oh, that
learning.
we need confirmation for
She's
that. Hold on.
learning. She asked all the people what's up, and they answered her, and she took pronouns out. That's fire.
No, she didn't.
Oh, on which bio?
Not on her Instagram.
Maybe Twitter. It's probably Twitter. 'Cause
Not on
I
her
think
Instagram.
that's where she asked the question was Twitter.
I did. Not on her Instagram.
I don't have Twitter.
Yeah, we don't have Twitter.
Yeah, we don't do Twitter.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah,
Because
Twitter.
of her Instagram,
yeah,
she still has it
no, I'm sure she doesn't care about her Instagram.
right here.
But she'll get there. But fire if she took it out of her Twitter, good. Like you don't need no fucking. You're a girl.
Thanks, Kate. Appreciate you.
All right, y'all. We appreciate
You guys want to see one last thing before I go?
oh, yeah,
I fell down
Colleen.
the stairs.
She destroyed
Fucked
herself.
up my elbow.
It's amazing.
And of course, it's my elbow that like I lean on. That shit hurts so bad. Almost took the dog down with me. It was pretty bad. It's pretty swollen. So,
But yeah, I think we told you. Trying to hook up with Sousa again to get Sousa back on. I think. Listen, the end of the month. You heard it here first, y'all. But Sean Woodland. So we're gonna have the Voice of CrossFit on. So that'll
Yep.
be fire.
yep.
And then yeah, like
Yeah, I have a
somebody told
couple.
you.
I have a couple of people that I want to. I always say, and I laugh about this when I say this. Like, it's weird for me to like slide into somebody's DM, but there are a couple people that I have started to have conversations, like liking their stories or hearting their stories, and they've answered me and whatever. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna.
We're trying to do some fun stuff.
Yep.
Have a great holiday season, and
Yeah.
then get ready for Jan 6, 2025. See what happens. No, I'm just it'll be fine.
Oh,
Everybody,
2
it's
days
gonna be
after
fine.
my, 2
gonna be
days
fine.
after my birthday. Oh boy.
It's gonna be fine.
I'd
Everything.
have a big birthday
everybody,
for me
it's
so
gonna be
that
fine.
I can keep my shit together on Jan 6. No, I'll be fine.
All right. All right, guys. We
Bye,
love you.
guys.
Thank you for hanging out with us as always.
you next
We'll talk
time.
to you later.
Bye.
Deuces.